Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and we've got some more Cons of Tarkir spoilers. I was starting to get the shakes, like seriously. Anyways, these spoilers come from the fully revealed Speed versus Cunning Duel deck lists, and man, just let me say, sweet stuff. While we don't have the artwork for most of the cards yet, we do have artwork for the new Cons of Tarkir cards. We'll start with the spoiled inclusions from the Speed list. Mardu Heart Piercers, 3 colorless and 1 red for a 2/3 human archer with a new mechanic Raid. When it enters the battlefield, if you attacked with a creature this turn, the Heart Piercer deals 2 damage to target creature or player. I love this mechanic. Utilizing the post-combat main phase has always been strategic, but now it has more meaning than ever. This is especially helpful for newer players learning the different phases of a turn. That aside, still love this card. The mechanic is going to be powerful for limited, plus the body isn't so bad. You also can't go wrong with 2 damage on entry. It's a pretty good start if you ask me. The next spoiler from the Speed deck is Nomad Outpost, meaning we're getting a cycle of Wedge colored tri-lands. I am so happy they printed these. Not only that, but I'm even more excited that they're out in common. Their availability in limited should be scarce enough to actually warrant a mid-pack pickup, but not so impossible that you'll never get one. It's perfect balance for a strong mana-fixing land like this. Of course, these lands being printed brings up a whole other issue. Fetch lands, they're totally getting printed in cons, guys. Okay, it's a big set, and they could totally do it, right? The dream is alive. It has to be alive. Moving on to the Cunning Deck, the first con spoiler we'll look at is the Jeskai Elder. 1 colorless and 1 blue for a 1/2 human monk with a new mechanic called Prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever the Elder deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. I have to say, this is so Izzet. This card embodies everything Izzet players want to do. It's fast, it benefits from casting burn spells, and it has the pseudo card advantage that Red is now famous for, all on a solely blue card. I think more than anything, this card represents what we're going to see in cons. Instead of a massive amount of multicolored cards, we could see monocolored cards, but with aspects from the other colors. That's awesome. Everything about that is the best thing ever. Where is my white flyer that lets me counter spells? Show it to me now! Seriously though, the Elder has fringe standard playability, especially in budget Izzet strategies. The Spellhard Chimera deck is always looking for friends, just saying. Keep this guy in mind. Prowess is cool, the red ability on this card is cool, I'm really loving the flavor here. Because Morph is the best mechanic on the face of the planet, 1000 Winds is the next Cons of Tarkir spoiler from Cunning. 4 colorless and 2 blue for a 5/6 flying elemental with a morph cost of 7. When it's turned face up, return all other tapped creatures to their owner's hands. Just beautiful. For those of you who don't know, Morph is a mechanic that lets you play the creature face down as a 3-mana 2/2 colorless creature. At any time, you can pay the Morph cost to turn it face up, activating its ability. In this case, 1000 Winds destroys decks that go all in on you. It's an expensive return effect that also requires the creatures to be tapped, but the ability itself is a little too powerful to ignore in a format like Draft. Not only do you get a blowout return effect, but you get a 5/6 flyer. That's potentially game-ending. It's a bit too clunky for standard play, but I'm sure limited and commander players will have fun with the power this guy's packing. The last Cons of Tarkir spoiler is Mystic Monastery, the Jeskai Wedge land. I think something important to keep in mind is that these are going to have eternal value. Not only will they get played in standard until they rotate, but you can expect commander players to need these until Magic dies. Think about all the Kaalia players in need of a Nomad Outpost, or the Zedru players that would die to get a foil Mystic Monastery. The point is that these will always have value. Long after rotation, you can expect people to trade for these. That's all I'm saying. Do with that info what you will, just foils are cool. The rest of the Speed deck is basically goblins. From Goblin War Chief to Krenko Mob Boss, it's full on little green dudes. I'm sure that makes a lot of you happy, especially if you've been searching for sweet goblin cards. Cunning is a little more complicated, naturally because it's blue, duh. Anyways, Cunning is more late game. Cards like Sphinx of Uthun and Lightning Angel are both super fun, but don't really impact the board until turn 4 minimum. You also have control creatures like Stone Cloaker and Coral Trickster to mess with your opponent. Mana Leak, Lightning Helix, Impulse, and the rest of the spells reinforce this late game idea. These strategies couldn't be more different. By doing that, they represent their respective archetypes really well. I'm impressed by the lists, and they look stupidly fun to play. I can't wait to pick one up for myself. If you're trying to find a way to teach a new player Magic and want to get them into the game in a flavorful way, buy this and let them play the speed deck. Goblins are always fun to play and relatively simple. It's a great jumping off point for players. What do you guys think about the new con spoilers? Prowess, Raid, these mechanics are pretty sweet, not gonna lie. I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Just seriously though, talk to me. I get lonely. Anyways, remember to subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.